Hello, this is Molly from Lessons by Molly. Did you know that when you play the card game Old Maid, you don't need a special deck of cards? You can just use a standard deck of 52 cards. All you have to do is remove one of the queens to play the game. I've created a game that's like Old Maid, only I'm calling it Flat Tire. The term Old Maid is not a very nice name for a card game. It has a negative connotation. It's like a woman that's older, that's unmarried, and you don't want to be stuck with her at the end of the game. So I think that we can all agree that nobody wants to be stuck with a flat tire, and that's what my game is going to be about. To play the game, you are going to start with 52 cards, but you're going to remove one of them, just like you would with a standard deck of cards when you remove the queen. Now, I have 13 different shapes, but I only need 12 to play the game. So I'm going to remove the trapezoids, and I'm going to replace them with 3 flat tire cards. The object of the game is to get rid of your cards and not be stuck with a flat tire at the end of the game. If you are stuck with the flat tire, you are the loser. Now I'm going to need to shuffle up my cards, so I'm going to do that now, and then I'll be back in just a few minutes after I get them mixed up. I'm back, and I've shuffled my cards, hopefully well enough to demonstrate this game. In my fictitious demonstration, we're going to have 4 players. And we're going to indicate them with these colored shapes. So I'm going to have a green player, a yellow player, a blue player, and a red player. When you play flat tire, you deal all the cards. There is no deck of cards. Every player has some cards in their hands. And it doesn't matter if some players have more than others, as long as you've dealt them as evenly as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and deal the cards out now. Okay, I have dealt all the cards out. Now normally in the game, the players do not reveal their cards, but since this is a demonstration, I am going to turn these over. Now remember, the object of the game is to get rid of your cards and not be stuck with the flat tire. So each player looks for pairs in their hand, and if they have a pair, they can discard it in the discard pile. So I'll start with the red and see if there are any pairs in here. Okay, I think I have a pair of rectangles, and let's see, I don't believe I have any other pairs in this. Oh, I do. So there's my circles. Okay, and so then as I'm doing this, as the red player is doing this, the yellow player is also looking for pairs in their deck to discard. So I have the crescents I can see there. They can only discard a pair, so they cannot discard 3. So even though the yellow player has a 3rd crescent, he cannot discard it. Okay? And I don't think he has any other pairs, unless I'm missing something. I think that's, oh, the hearts. Okay. Okay, and then the green player is also looking for pairs. and he has the pair of flat tires, so he's going to discard that, which means that there's only one flat tire left. And the blue player is going to look for pairs in his hand. A pair of squares. Okay. And no other pairs. Okay? Now remember, the cards are turned over when you play the game. So you have a designated person to start the game, and I'm going to say it's the red player. The red player takes a card from the player to their left. So that's going to be the yellow player. But let's remember that they don't get to see these cards. So they randomly take a card and add it to their pile. And if they have a pair, they can add it to the discard pile. But in this occurrence, they did not. Now it's the yellow player's turn, and he's going to randomly take a card sight unseen from the green player. Okay? And then he's going to look and see, does he have a heart that he can make a pair? No, he doesn't have a heart. Okay, now it is the green player's turn, and he's going to randomly take a card from the blue player. I'm turning these over to help remind you that they're not going to see these cards when they withdraw it. But the remaining rounds, I'm going to leave them face up. Okay, there's no pairs in that round for that player. So now it is the blue player's turn, and he's going to take from the red player. But remember, he doesn't see the cards when he takes them. So he's going to take a card. Okay. And let's see. There's no matches there. Now it's back to the red player. I'm going to turn them over, and then I'm going to just randomly take a card. Eventually, we'll start to get more pairs. So I'm going to grab this oval, and I'm going to see, did I have another oval? No, I did not have another oval. Now it's the yellow player's turn to randomly grab a card. Let's say he grabs the rhombus. He didn't see it, but he grabbed it, and as it turned out, he has a pair now. And then we'll have the green player randomly take from the blue player, and let's say that he randomly takes this square. So now he has a pair, and he adds that to the pile, the discard pile. It's back to the blue player's turn. He needs to take a card from the red player. He's just going to randomly take the pentagon. As it turns out, he's got a pair he can discard. Back to the red player. He's going to randomly take a card. Let's say he takes this heart. Does he have a heart? No, he doesn't have a heart, so he has no pair. Back to the yellow player. The yellow player takes from the green player. He takes the octagon. That makes a pair. He adds it to the discard pile. Green player's turn. Randomly grabs a card from the blue player. Let's say he takes the rectangle. No pairs there, so he has to just hang on to the rectangle. Back to the blue player. Let's say he takes the heart. Now he has a pair. Add it to the discard pile. Back to the red player. He randomly takes a card from the yellow player. He takes the hexagon. That makes a pair, so he adds it to the discard pile. Where are we at? We're at the yellow player now. The yellow player is going to grab a card from the blue player. He grabs the pentagon, and that makes a pair, so he adds it to the discard pile. Now it's the green player's turn. He randomly grabs a card from the blue player. It's a circle, it's not a pair. Now it is the blue player's turn, and he needs to grab a card from the red player. Let's say he grabs the octagon. He made a pair, so he gets to add it to the discard pile. Back to the red player, who grabs from the yellow player. He grabs the star, that's a pair, he adds it to the discard pile. Now it's the yellow player's turn. The yellow player randomly grabs a card. It's a pair that he can make with the circles. He adds it to the discard pile. The yellow player only has one card left. Green player's turn. He randomly grabs a card from the blue player. He randomly grabs the flat tire. Yikes, he doesn't want that card, but that's what he grabbed. Now it's the blue player's turn, and he randomly grabs a card from the red player. Let's say he grabs the rhombus, and that's a pair, so we'll add it to the discard pile. Now it is the red player's turn. The yellow player only has one card left, so that's the one he takes. That makes a pair for him. The yellow player is now safe. He did not get stuck with the flat tire, and he is out of cards. Back to the green player's turn. He grabs a card from the blue player. Let's say he grabs the star. And now he has a pair, so he adds it to the discard pile. Blue player's turn to grab a card from the red player. Let's say he grabs the triangle. That makes a pair. Add it to the discard pile. Now the blue player only has one card left. It's the red player's turn. Since he cannot take a card from the yellow player, he moves on, he keeps going towards the left, and he needs to take from the green player. And let's say he takes the flat tire. Yikes, now he has the flat tire. He hopes he doesn't get stuck with that. Back to the blue player's turn. The blue player has to take from the... Oh, I'm sorry, it's the green player's turn. The green player has to take from the blue player. The blue player only has one card left, so he takes the one remaining card of the blue player and makes a pair, the hexagon. The blue player is now safe. He has got rid of all of his cards, and he was not stuck with the flat tire. So now the game is between the green player and the red player. One of them is going to get stuck with the flat tire. So it's the red player's move, and he has to grab a card from the green player. Either card he's going to grab, he's going to make a pair. So let's say he takes the rectangle, and he makes a pair with that. Now it's the green player's turn. The green player knows, if he's calculated it enough, that the red player, one of the cards, is the flat tire, but he doesn't know which one it is. Okay? So he hopes that he gets the oval, so he makes a pair and is out of the game. But if he grabs the flat tire, the game is still on. Okay? And let's say he grabs the flat tire. So he's back with that flat tire that he had. And it's back to his turn, and he has to grab the one remaining card from the red player, which is the oval. He can make that match, but he's still stuck with the flat tire. And that's how you play the game Flat Tire, which is my version of Old Maid. These playing cards are available for free at my shop. You can just download them. They are the same size as regular playing cards. I printed them with cardstock paper. Regular paper will not be thick enough. If you're able to get some kind of printable plastic that is safe in your printer, that makes it feel like a real card, that might be better in terms of ease with shuffling and with dealing. Since this game has a loser, you have to keep that in mind with the children that you're working with. You could make a twist in the game and make the winner be the person who gets the flat tire. I would recommend that this game be for second and third grade. In terms of the complexity of the game, I don't think it's appropriate for kindergarten. And in terms of all of the different 13 shapes that I've included, I don't think that that is appropriate for the youngest elementary age children. But your second and third graders, maybe who are learning these shapes, this would be a great way for them to have fun. I also recommend when you're starting the game that you limit it to 3 players and not 4 players, and ideally have an adult as one of the players. This is a great thing that you can send home with the instructions that I've included in the file for your parents to play with their children at home. I'll leave a link to the video so that you can also point them to this demonstration video so they'll understand how to play the game. If you do teach kindergartners or first graders and you'd like to use this game, you could use it as a memory match game. And so therefore you wouldn't be using, for instance, 4 ovals. You would just have 2 ovals and 2 rectangles and so forth in your memory match game. And I also would not use all 13 shapes to play memory match. I would start with maybe 6 or 7 for your children to match. Back to the old Maid game with the traditional cards, there's also a way that you can make a twist on that game if you're using traditional cards. You could make the winner the person who is left with the queen, or you could make it that create a variable and have it be that if the remaining queen is the queen of hearts, that you win the game. But if you get another queen, you lose the game. So there's lots of different variations that you could do with these games. And these shapes playing cards, they are, when you make them, you will have 13 suits, just like you have in a regular deck of cards. I'm sorry, I think I meant to say 13 ranks, which are from, in a regular deck you have ace, king, queen, jack, 10, all the way down to the number 2. And so in this deck, your shapes are your ranks. You don't have suits, you don't have like clubs, diamonds, hearts, or spades. But you do have 52 cards in this deck, which means that you can also probably play some other games such as Go Fish. Alright, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Bye!